Alright, guys, here is Yemisi Iginla's story as she released in a live video on Facebook.
I don't seem to understand. Stella confronted me and told me to share my husband with her. And I was like, do you know this is a man of God? He's a man of God. When she said I should share my husband with her, that I'm being selfish for holding on with my husband, that if I don't allow my husband, if I don't share my husband with her, she's going to take my husband from me. It's funny. It was like that, but it happened. Before I know it, I got her number. All she would do was to condemn me every bit, every day. Condemn me every day. Every day. I have some of the ones I screenshot that Stella would say to me. Stella would say many things, and I'm bringing it up so that you can see. One of these was that an AS and AS genotype can never be, thus a misplaced marriage. I don't know how I can show it. Okay. If you can see it, that's Stella. I overlooked it. The next day, it was naked demonstration of God's love. That's it. Then my husband never told me about his relationship with Stella. I got to know that he had a baby through her updates. And I don't know if you are seeing it. I don't know if you are seeing it. This is it. I don't know if you are seeing it, if it is clear. This was part of the battles I was fighting, but I kept quiet. A lot. When in my inquisitiveness, I got some of the pictures him and my husband, she and my husband were exchanging in their living room. This is Stella when she was pregnant. And the next is my husband. I kept it. I didn't say nothing. I did not say anything. I don't want to go much. If he says I'm lying, he should come up and do the genotype of my children. Come up and do the genotype of my children. The 3 children are his. If he loves Stella, he would have told me that he wanted to go on with Stella instead of tormenting my life, involving his family to torment me. Nobody knows the pain I went through. I beg him. Even up till November, I had asked him if Stella is now my wife, he should allow me accept that fact. I can stay with it. After all, I've known the pains I've bear all the whole years. I now see that he cannot separate himself from Stella, the prophetess in South Africa. But my major pains at that time that made me bitter was that Stella was always with him. Stella was always with him. Stella was always with him. And it's to my surprise that he got married to Stella. I'm just seeing that now with all this saga online. I'm shocked that he got married to Stella. I'm shocked. So I can't say anything more than my child's health status that he put out, so that tomorrow my child will not say, Mommy, you didn't say anything. My 3 children are his. I've never, ever lived a promiscuous life. Ever. I gave my life to Christ since I was 6 years old. And I've been in the faith. I'm sorry for those of you who said I wouldn't have said anything. But I'm sorry. For my children's sake and their destiny. My husband is Brother Joshua Iginla. If he says it's the end of it, it's not the end of life. God is with us all the time. God bless you all. Have a blessed day. Bye.
Hi guys, I'm Daddy Freeze, convener of the Free the Sheeple movement and leader of the Free Nation in Christ. I greet you and I bring glad tidings. My son is laughing at me. My kids always laugh at me. It's quite a sad thing that I'm here today. You guys know that I hardly ever come on Saturdays. But this is an issue that has come before the church. Pastor Yemisi Iginla, wife of popular Pastor Joshua Iginla, has spoken up. She has said her own side of the story. And it would be available, her video would be available on my YouTube page. youtube.com/Daddy Freeze Teaches. Remember to subscribe and like. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Unfortunately, I can't play the video here because I have to edit it. I took it off her live YouTube broadcast she had earlier on this evening. It was like a 5-6 minute broadcast that ended about 20-30 minutes ago. So I'm here addressing it all. I wish our pastors had not created the jail cell of doctrines that is keeping many of them prisoners today. You see, I had a long talk with a pastor today who I like to keep anonymous. And I appreciate God in my life for one thing. He broke me down totally before he started me in ministry. So I do not have any affiliations or attachments to any establishment. I do not have to conform to anything unless it's scriptural. I do not have to conform to the tradition of Christianity. I do not have to conform to the laws of Moses or the laws of the Pharisees or the laws of Christianity or the laws of the Catholic Church or the laws, the rules, the regulations of the Pentecostal Church. Why? Because I had a personal revelation from God himself, who by himself taught me the scriptures. So I do not have any godfather. I do not have any senior. I do not have any senior pastor. I do not have anyone I have to pay tithe to. I do not have anyone from whom I came. I came directly from my Creator. Not many pastors enjoy this. Not many pastors enjoy this thing that I'm talking to you about. There are very few pastors who enjoy this. I'm probably the brokest of all the known teachers of the word today. I'm probably the poorest. But I'm also the one who can speak the truth without being afraid of establishment. Nobody can excommunicate me. Excommunicate me from where? I'm me and you inside the group. No be when me and you, they WhatsApp group, now if you delete me. Hello? Amarachi. Is it not when me and you are in a group that you can delete me? Can you delete me from a group I'm not a part of? I have no affiliations. However, many pastors can be attacked by their fellows because of doctrinal issues or because they are not aligning with, not scripture, with church tradition or with church rules and regulation. I'll give you an example. You want to get married, you have to get married in church. In the Free Nation, no. There was somebody, Irene called me about the other day, said one pastor on Freedom Way refused to marry a divorced couple. Please, Irene, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you, give that person my number. I will marry you. I will even marry you over the phone. Is that easy? Because the scripture say in the beginning there was God, there was Adam, and there was Eve. That's all it takes for a wedding. Anything else is an addition. There was God, there was Adam and Eve, and Christ referred to it. He said, in the beginning, there was Adam and Eve. It's very significant. Adam, Eve, and God, not Adam, Eve, Adam's family, Eve's family. You see, the moment you add family, then you add tradition, then you add regulation, then you add whatever it is that you add, fanfare, the problem starts. So if you're a Free Nation member, you could look around at somebody right now, the way I'm looking at Amarachi, and tell them, you are born free, or you've been set free. Galatians chapter 5, if you read from 1 to 4, says, now that you are free, do not tie yourself up in any yoke of slavery. Yoke of tradition is slavery. I'm going somewhere with this. Because it would be so easy. I'm going to get angry with you. It would be so easy for a man and a woman to look at each other and say, look, this relationship is not working. Let's go our separate ways. Let's have a conversation. If you watch my teachings on Joshua Iginla's marital, I will trash Joshua Iginla on scriptural issues, but I will not trash him on his marriage failure. Neither will I trash Pastor Yemisi, who's his wife, over their marital issues. Because I'm not here to judge human beings. I'm here to judge doctrines. I'm here to teach you the truth. So I'm not blaming them. Even though what I saw in today's video, which I'm going to play for you at the end of this video, saddened my heart. But I will not judge them. I will judge the establishment. Look at someone beside you and tell them this evening that we need to ask the establishment some questions. Can you see the jail cell you've built? My dear doctrine holders, a man cannot divorce his wife. If he divorces his wife and he remarries, he commits adultery. If a woman divorces her husband, she commits... Can you see what you have caused? Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Mumu doctrines that are not in the scriptures. All your geos that are saying this, I say this today, God will punish all of them on this earth and in the hereafter. Can you see what they've caused? Now, for a marriage to end, there must be war. One side must come and allege. The second side must come and counter-allege. The children must suffer. I went through it. And let me tell you something. The Lord is going to punish every single one of those Jews who knowingly enforced a doctrine of lies. You taught members of your church that they could not get divorced. When I started preaching divorce, everybody was fighting me. Una don't see him. Shey una don't see him now. I said one day, me, Daddy Freeze, and the Free Nation is a very pro-divorce church. One guy called me after. He said, no. You shouldn't say you are pro-divorce. He says you should say that in. I said, no, I am going to say to you, like I said it live, we are pro-divorce. Any small thing that is going to cause problem, if you people cannot live together, una divorce. I want to make divorce easy, not because I want to promote adultery, because I want to stop hypocrisy. Go and watch my original teaching on this subject. You come and say if a man divorces his woman, it's adultery. Let me tell you, greed is adultery according to the scriptures. The mammon worship people are doing up and down, saying your tithe is working for you. You are sowing seeds, raising seeds of altar. Raising seeds of dollars on altars of mammon. All those funny women preachers that are harebrained. That's adultery. You didn't know? But you see, the difference between that type of adultery and the adultery you're propagating via divorce is that one is more hypocritical. Do you know that Christ said if you look at a woman lustfully, it's already adultery? How many people are being judged for looking at women lustfully? You now go and read the book of Malachi chapter 2 and come and tell me that it is that God hates divorce. Oh yes, God hates divorce, but he doesn't hate divorcees. So the act of divorce is described as violent in that same Malachi chapter 2. If you haven't read it, go read it yourself. I didn't really want to teach scriptures today. I wanted to talk to my people. God said the act of divorce is violent and he hates it. It doesn't mean he hates divorcees. Sometimes living in a bad marriage is more violent than divorce. Lekan Shonde, according to Linda Ikeji's blog of yesterday night, has been sentenced to death by hanging for killing his wife inside marriage. Go and read it on Linda Ikeji's blog. Is death not more violent than divorce? I want to ask you, Nigerian hypocrites, custodians of Christianity, like Jesus lived in Yaba. The way Nigerians carry Christianity on your head, they will think Golgotha is in Songwater. Bethlehem is in Ikeja. Corinth is in Surulere. Thessalonica is in Aja. That is how you carry. And Christianity has nothing to do. We are the most Gentile of the Gentile nations. Yet it is us that carry it on our head. You will not go and read John chapter 4 where Christ met with a Samaritan woman who had been married 5 times and was living with her boyfriend. Christ never told her to stop living with her boyfriend. He never told her to go and fix her first marriage. He never told her to go and fix. You will be listening to Nathaniel Bassey. They will be praying for marriages that are meant to be broken to be mended. Can you see your life? I will never blame Iginla or Yemisi for this. I will blame the establishment. I will blame the system. And when I was talking, go back about a year ago plus, I gave a message. I said, anybody who dies in a marriage after this message has been released will go to hell. You know, reach 1 month, one man for Abuja, in wife kill him. Leave bad marriages. End bad marriages. Church doctrine, church false doctrine will not let you people. Now, for a man and his woman to end it, because let me ask you a question. If Joshua Iginla and Yemisi Iginla had come in front of you people and said, this thing is not working, we are not doing it again, what would people have said? Fake man of God, blah, 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 blah. He cannot keep his marriage. Is that not what they say to me? They say, Daddy Freeze, you cannot keep your marriage. I cannot keep a marriage that was not meant to be together. And the greatest gift of my life is my divorce. After my divorce, my ministry was established on this earth. My purpose was revealed to me. And I have begun conquests that no other Nigerian preacher can boast of. I say this without any pride or prejudice. You all can see it. I could never have attained this without my divorce. That is why I am pro-divorce. Many of you are stuck in marriages that are holding your purpose, but you can't leave because of the establishment. Now look at the mess. The man is saying she brought in an unholy child. She's asking the man to come over. You see the video after this. She's asking the man to come over to the States and have the DNA test done that the child is not unholy. Allegations counter allegations. Like I said, I will not judge the people. I will judge the establishment. Because the establishment has become or is becoming the harlot of Babylon. Who's with me today? I'm in the mood. I'm in the spirit. I was having a conversation with my son today. I was like, look, when a marriage isn't working, it isn't working. No need to fight. No need to scatter things so that you now have to come back and repair. No need for the rampage of destruction. It is satanic. It is violent. We can disagree in love. I want to see my ex with her husband and sit down and be able to drink tea with them. If you can't do that, you are not a Christian. It means you are making her your enemy, and Christ says you should pray for your enemy. So the moment you pray for your enemy, the enemy ceases to become your enemy. If I see my ex, until I see my ex, and sit down with her and her husband, or her husband to be, or her fiance, or her boyfriend, and we can drink tea and gist like human beings, I've not achieved anything. Women, when your marriages are over, learn to leave. Learn to let go. Men, when your marriages are over, learn to let go. It is not a sin. Anybody that told you it's a sin is a liar from the pit. Let me tell you what is a sin. Collecting tithe and paying it. That's a sin. Described in the book of Galatians chapter 2 as sinful, because Hebrews chapter 7 verse 5 says the law requires it. So if you're doing anything that is required by the law of Moses, it is a sin. Galatians chapter 2 verse 17 and 18. Read it. I'm not reading it for you now. Galatians chapter 3 verse 1 says it is foolishness. Why do you think Paul spoke to the Galatians, the entire Galatians, and called them foolish and bewitched? Because they were holding on to the law. Why did Paul in that same Galatians chapter 3 verse 10 say, cursed is anyone who tries to practice the law, especially if you cannot fulfill the entire law, which includes do not shave your beard, which includes do not eat catfish, which includes do not touch a dead pig. Do you know a football is made out of pig leather? So each time you touch a football, you become unholy. Do you know all these things? People will there be practicing the law, putting sin on your head because one mumu Gio that wants to use people to buy private jet, or the one that already has private jet wants to use people to buy petrol inside the private jet. You'll now be using your head up and down, you to mumu, up and down, mumu. And you see people's lives? I'm asking you. Those are the sins. Galatians chapter 5 verse 4 says, each time you put yourself under the law, you cut yourself off from God and you fall from his grace. You cut yourself off from Christ and you fall from his grace. How can you be a Christian that has cut himself off from Christ? Is that not the highest punishment of all? And yet you are pointing your finger at somebody who is divorced and say that person is sinning. Let me tell you, tithers are bigger sinners than divorcees. Hello. Unamumuna tonight it go end. If you are listening to me and you are paying tithe, you are worse than a divorcee 150 times. Because you are worshiping the God of Mammon. As far as I'm concerned and as far as the scriptures have shown me. Some new Pentecostal liars from the pit of hell will come and tell you that Abraham paid tithe to Melchizedek. My daughter Malachi will scatter that doctrine for you this night. It's just that she's in her pajamas, so I don't want to bring her on camera. She will scatter it for you, that mumu doctrine. What scripture will you use to scatter it? The scripture itself. What scripture is it? Genesis. What Genesis? Should only go there. Genesis chapter 14. When Abraham paid tithe to Melchizedek, Melchizedek collected 10%, and Abraham returned the 90% to who he collected it from. How can you pay tithe like Abraham? That means, first of all, no Nigerian pastor qualifies to be a Melchizedek. Because the scriptures say Melchizedek had no beginning, had no end. Your pastor has beginning, he has mother, he drank breast. And your pastor will die, they will bury him inside coffin. So he has both beginning and end. He's not a Melchizedek. Let's even imagine, okay, he's the Melchizedek. It means as you collect your salary, let's also remember that Abraham did not tithe his salary. He did not tithe his wages. He did not tithe his income. He tithed the spoils of war. He was returning from the slaughter of the kings, meaning Abraham go keep people come back. Now from that, now he tithe. And guess what? As he gave 10% to Melchizedek, he returned the remaining 90% back to the king of Sodom where he collected it from. So please, if you want to tithe according to Melchizedek and Abraham, once you collect your salary, give your Melchizedek, which is not your pastor, your 10%, and return your 90% back to where you are collecting it from, which is your place of work. Do it for 3 months and see if you not die. Mumu doctrine. This is the result. Now people are coming. I was watching a live video. I listened to the entire 5 minutes. I'm going to upload it here. I was watching people coming there and telling her, you don't have to do this for the ministry. Because the ministry, not his ministry, the establishment is corrupt. When will little things like this not come and be messing up their ministry? Before I joined the Free Nation, before I started the Free Nation, I'd already gone through my own. So I don't need to be subject to the establishment. And I know what my eyes went through. Marriage that should have died 10 years before. Me and woman are living inside the house. We are looking at each other like police and thief. That was how the marriage was. She didn't trust me, I didn't trust her. Let me tell you things I used to do for my ex. I walk into a room, I see my ex talking. She keeps quiet. Obviously, she's talking of me, or I'm suspecting she's talking of me. I have 2 phones. I will use one phone to call the other, drop the other there where she is, and carry the other one and go and be listening to the conversation. Is that life? Do you know when she packed out of my house on the 24th of June? I'm very bad with dates, but I remember this date. 24th of June, 2014. I felt like my whole world crumbled. Why did my world crumble? It's not like me and the person love ourselves. It's not like me and the person have marriage going on. No. We are 2 single people inside a marriage that had contract. My world shattered because I knew the story will get to the media and they will mock me. I knew the story will get to my church and they will start. Oh, it took them a week. The moment it got to the church, I was supposed to MC something for the church. They had even given me the breakdown of what I was supposed to do. You won't believe it. 2 days before the event, they just called me and said, our senior pastor said, for now, we should not use you. That's it. Those were the things I was afraid of. Marriage that I should have filed for the divorce 10 years before. She had to go out. And for her to go out, she had to allege and allege and allege. It's the same Joshua Iginla. That's why I can't judge Joshua Iginla. The same thing he went through, the same thing I'm going through. Allege, then counter allege. Must we go through that? I beg you, start talking to your pastors, start talking to your GOs. Let them adjust their doctrines of lies and falsehood. Revelation chapter 22 verse 15, the scripture is very clear. It says, outside the gates, those inside the gates will taste out of the fruit of life. But those outside the gates are with the dogs, the sorcerers, the adulterers, and those who practice falsehood. Your Jews have kept you outside the gate for long enough. And it is because you are practicing falsehood. And practicing falsehood has been linked with adultery. So that adultery you are afraid of practicing by divorce, you're already practicing it with the nonsense doctrines people are following up and down. A time will come when people will depart from sound doctrine. Instead, they will listen to what they want to listen to. Who saw the video the other day of where they were flogging a woman for cheating on her husband? Why are you flogging a woman for cheating on her husband? Does that make any sense? You people are selling your traditions as Christianity, as religion. Let me tell you, if those your traditions had any use to them, the Oyinbo man will not come and collect it from you and give you their own. People are running around over Oyinbo religions. If African culture and tradition was as useful and worthwhile as they are now running up and down claiming it to be, do you think the white man would be able to come and give us two religions and we now want to kill ourselves over these two religions? Religions that have nothing to do with us. We are Gentiles on both sides. None of the two religions happened in Nigeria. None of them passed through. If you open the scripture, you see the word Lebanon. You see Syria. You see Palestine. You see Athens. You see Corinth. You see Rome. Where is Nigeria inside? Nowhere. But we are the ones that are the custodians. Just as our traditions have failed us, these new set of human man-made traditions that we have evolved out of our ignorance and foolishness are going to be lost again. Adjust your doctrines. Let me tell you, divorce is not a sin. It is not a sin. Being in a bad marriage and cheating on your spouse is a sin. It is a sin. Paying tithe is a sin. Sowing seeds of money on altars is a sin. It's harlotry. Adultery. There's no other name for it. Those are sins. Let people divorce in peace. I'm an advocate for good marriage, but I'm not an advocate for enduring marriage. Marriage is not meant to be endured. It's meant to be enjoyed. They taught you the other way around. And that's why we are where we are today. When I was shouting the other day, if you are in a bad marriage divorce, what did everybody say about me? I have people that have stopped following me because of this divorce. When I don't see them. I'm waiting for your GOs to divorce. Because I know many of them are in horrible marriages, frustrating marriages. Their marriages are their biggest crosses. They are like in prison camps. And I'm praying that they will divorce so you people will learn. Be listening to Nathaniel that will come and be telling you people that I see a marriage healing. I pray that no marriage that was meant to be broken should heal in Yehushua's name. Yehoshua did not pray for the woman at the well to go back to her first husband. Why are Nigerian preachers in a faraway African country preaching what does not concern them? The gospel you will not teach. The living water you will not give your congregation. It is marriage that has died that you will be trying to resurrect. Those ones that tried to resurrect Elliot, how far did they go with it? Learn. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything for you. When a marriage is bad, when a marriage is dead, leave. Leave. I'm praying for someone to have the grace. I said I was going to read something to you. Give me my phone there. I'm praying for someone to have the grace to leave their marriage. I'm going to have a testimony at the end of this. I had a testimony last time I preached this. I'm going to have another testimony. Somebody is going to leave their dead marriage. Somebody listening to me tonight is going to, in the name of Yehoshua, break out of a dead marriage. Let me read you a testimony. And with this, I'll end today's sermon. Daddy Freeze, good evening. Thank you for the eye-opener through your teaching on Joshua Iginla's issue. It was the last time I thought about it. I am free and liberated. I have endured enough. I'll be happier out of this so-called marriage. Thanks for the message. It was designed for me. There's somebody who this message I'm giving is designed for. You will not, you see, if you can't understand and sit down with your spouse and arrange a proper divorce, you will go through this he said, she said, in front of the whole world. All those your pastors that said they married you in the house of God. The church, first of all, is not the house of God. So the marriage in the church does not supersede anything. It does not make God involved more. And since they are teaching you doctrines of lies, they are outside the fence with the dogs and the sorcerers and the witchcraft people and the adulterers. I'm telling you this. I'll continue to read. He said, having the free nation is enough strength for me. I told you about my husband. I run the house. He has no job. I run the house without help from anywhere. I understand perfectly well that sometimes life could be like that. Sir, do you know that despite this, my husband cheats? His own cheating is on a very high scale. He tells girls he's not married. Even when they see my kids' pictures on his phones, he tells them they are his sister's kids. Do I deserve such after all I'm going through to put our house together? Our rent has been due and he doesn't have a dime to pay for it, yet he stays out to sleep with small girls. He traveled recently and went to another state just to see if anything would come out from there. 2 days ago, a girl called me to ask who I am to him. I told her I'm his wife and she screamed, sorry ma. I never knew because he said he was single. A jobless man, yet he won't give me rest of mind. I have spoken, I have counseled, I have advised, yet nothing. Yet nothing. He left I and the kids that weekend and went to sleep with a girl. I found out when she called and I took her call. She was shocked because she never knew he was married. How many I want talk Daddy Freeze? I'm tired. Seriously. Anybody who advises this woman to continue in this marriage is practicing sorcery, is a witch. They are not bringing anything to the table. They are cheating on you. She even said he's beating her on top the cheating. Let me read it for you. Let me finish it. The worst is that if I call him privately to speak about this womanizing thing, he stands up and gives me the beating of my life. I want to ask you people listening to me today, and I want you to be honest. What advice should I give this woman? What advice should I give this woman, a member of the Free Nation Church, has been a member of the Free Nation Church for at least 2 years? What advice should I give her? I'm asking you. Facebook people, Instagram people, what advice should I give her? Somebody, Jigga said, I hope she left the marriage last year. She just wants to fire. Run for your life. Divorce. Let it go. Divorce such a husband. Get out, my sister. Una don dey talk true now. Pack and go. Divorce. Marriage is not for better or for worse. You see, in a marriage, I've seen marriages heal. Free Nation marriages. There was a Free Nation marriage I spoke about. They were on the brink of divorce. We had already gotten lawyers. This is somebody who is very close to me in the Free Nation. As I speak to you today, after 2 years, they are now sharing the same bedroom. Of course, things are not 100%, but they've worked so hard. When you call someone to make a complaint about what's going on in the marriage and he beats you, you are not staying in that marriage. And I will never put a woman through. The second punishment is the second jail cell. You can separate but not remarry. God will punish that Jew that said that thing. He will punish him and his children. It's not me. You cannot preach lies, falsehood in the name of God and expect not to receive a good, healthy dose of punishment from the Lord of Heaven's armies. Listen, woman, if you are separated and you've gotten a divorce, move on with your life. Find your rib you have a second chance at love. And to you people that are in marriages, I was talking to a pastor today, and we spoke about single people who are in marriages. Inside their mind, they are married. There's court document that shows they are married, but they are single. How many of you can your wife look through your phone? How many of you can you look through your wife's phone? How many of you know how much money exactly is in your wife's account? How many of you know exactly how much money is in your husband's account? Until you can do that, you are not in a marriage. Fine, maybe your own has not broken down to the point where we'll be begging you to leave. No. But you are single in a court union. If you want to be married, you have to understand that the scriptures say two become one. It's in the book of Genesis and the book of Matthew. Two become one. You can never become one with somebody who doesn't know the status of your bank account. How can you? You can never become one with somebody who cannot read your text messages. How can you? You can never become one with someone who does not know the password of your phone. Well, sometimes there are men who want to show the password of their phone, but their women do not know how to act. Some women will see that you have 1 million naira in your account, they will give you a bill of 900,000. You are a witch. You are the problem. As the man is opening up his phone or his life to you, you must also be wise and understand what your second and better half is going through. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm resting my teaching on this case. And the joy I have tonight is that if there's anything this Pastor Iginla story will teach us, is the fact that there's an easier way out of a dead marriage. Look at someone beside you and tell them this. There's an easy way out of a dead marriage. The hard way is the way we practice. Before my ex left, she called the cops on me. She staged drama on me. I'm not saying this to spoil her. Please, please, don't let this message be misinterpreted. Because how would a woman get up and leave without them calling her a prostitute? It's the system. It's the establishment. Some people who even stay in the marriage and then give you sniper. Because their GO told them that until you die, they cannot remarry. And to remarry is hungering them. So what's the solution? That you die. Your GOs are more devilish. Not all of them, some of them, that many of you know. Teaching you falsehood that will lead to all sorts of greater crimes. I feel so sorry for what Pastor Yemisi went through. And I feel so sorry that their marriage is coming to an end. But I know there was an easier way out. And I wish they had told that way. God bless you all.
I don't seem to understand. Stella confronted me and told me to share my husband with her. And I was like, do you know this is a man of God? He's a man of God. When she said I should share my husband with her, that I'm being selfish for holding on with my husband, that if I don't allow my husband, if I don't share my husband with her, she's going to take my husband from me. It's funny. It was like that, but it happened. Before I know it, I got her number. All she would do was to condemn me every bit, every day. Condemn me every day. Every day. I have some of the ones I screenshot that Stella would say to me. Stella would say many things, and I'm bringing it up so that you can see. One of these was that an AS and AS genotype can never be, thus a misplaced marriage. I don't know how I can show it. Okay. If you can see it, that's Stella. I overlooked it. The next day, it was naked demonstration of God's love. That's it. Then my husband never told me about his relationship with Stella. I got to know that he had a baby through her updates. And I don't know if you are seeing it. I don't know if you are seeing it. This is it. I don't know if you are seeing it, if it is clear. This was part of the battles I was fighting, but I kept quiet. A lot. When in my inquisitiveness, I got some of the pictures him and my husband, she and my husband were exchanging in their living room. This is Stella when she was pregnant. And the next is my husband. I kept it. I didn't say nothing. I did not say anything. I don't want to go much. If he says I'm lying, he should come up and do the genotype of my children. Come up and do the genotype of my children. The 3 children are his. If he loves Stella, he would have told me that he wanted to go on with Stella instead of tormenting my life, involving his family to torment me. Nobody knows the pain I went through. I beg him. Even up till November, I had asked him if Stella is now my wife, he should allow me accept that fact. I can stay with it. After all, I have known the pains I've bear all the whole years. I now see that he cannot separate himself from Stella, the prophetess in South Africa. But my major pains at that time that made me bitter was that Stella was always with him. Stella was always with him. Stella was always with him. And it's to my surprise that he got married to Stella. I'm just seeing that now with all this saga online. I'm shocked that he got married to Stella. I'm shocked. So I can't say anything more than my child's health status that he put out, so that tomorrow my child will not say, "Mommy, you didn't say anything." My 3 children are his. I've never, ever lived a promiscuous life. Ever. I gave my life to Christ since I was 6 years old. And I've been in the faith. I'm sorry for those of you who said I wouldn't have said anything. But I'm sorry. For my children's sake and their destiny. My husband is Brother Joshua Iginla. If he says it's the end of it, it's not the end of life. God is with us all the time. God bless you all. Have a blessed day. Bye.